welcome to day 2 of rebuilding. So it's amazing how quickly things like this become a challenge, my friends. Today's been a long day. It's a little after 9:30 p.m. My son had a cross-country meet several hours away. Got a nice sunburn. Yeah, so it's been a long day. But you know what? You gotta practice. And you have to create habits of practice, which means you just have to make the time no matter what. So I'm definitely starting this practice session already very tired. But at the same time, I've been thinking about it all day, looking forward to it, because I've been thinking about what I heard yesterday, especially because I did go back and edit the video, and which is such a wonderful time just to review and to listen and to think. So even though it's late and I'm tired, I'm actually really looking forward to this. This is very good. So let's begin. We all have that thing we play when we first play. That was mine. Playing on a different reed today. Again, as I said yesterday, I work in huge batches of reeds, so I have tons of reeds. I'm actually playing on old reeds, not even new reeds. So it's another good sounding reed. It'll work for today. As always, I always start with what I call a chromatic tuning. That's just my own term for it. Essentially, I just play every single note on the bassoon. I want to kind of see where the reed itself is sitting. This lets me know if I need to make a little bit of adjustment to the reed. All I do is I play the note. The moment it's in tune, I move on to the next note. And I'm just kind of basically looking to see how hard I have to work to bring the note in tune. If I have to work really, really hard, then I know it's time to make adjustments to the reed. So. Well, this reed doesn't have much of a top octave, but that's okay. I'm going to stick with it. So after watching yesterday's video, today I'm thinking more about my tone. There was definitely a lot of spreading that was happening as I got into the louder side of the dynamics. Some of that probably was reed. Some of that is just not really having good control of my embouchure. Essentially, my feeling with regard to a good bassoon embouchure is that it really is just holding the reed, and you want it to have a nice seal, but you don't want it to be tight at all. Sit. Good girl. Stay. Having to start that low B flat 3 times exactly was sharp, and I really couldn't get it very soft. Just indicates to me time to take some cane off. So I've done that. Here we go. So watching myself yesterday and realizing how hard it is for me to get all 16 beats in at quarter note equals 60, I just need to make more effort, I think. I'm going to breathe in. I usually breathe in for 2 beats. I'm going to breathe in for a 3rd beat just to see if I can tank up my lungs a little bit better. So. So, and that's tricky too when if you take in breath over 3 beats and then something pops like that, I hate to just stop right away because I know I'm going to get lightheaded. So, I want to go ahead and commit and expend that air, but I'm going to have to redo that, obviously. So there's a lot going on here. I think I might take a little bit more cane off my reed. Really hard controlling that B. And B is a very open note on the bassoon. We all know our low B can be, it's kind of always a gnarlier note on every bassoon I've ever played on. So it's definitely one that's always worth giving attention to in your long tones, that low B, and also low Ds. Every second we can spend with these notes to control them is definitely going to pay off. They're just gnarly notes to control on the instrument. So just gonna do it again. It's okay. Yeah, so that was better. Some things went better. I was able to hold it longer. I also don't think I got quite as loud as I could, though, so I kind of compromised there. Just going to try this again. So it's interesting. I'm going to make my students watch this one just for the long tone section. It's amazing how much time I don't spend playing because I'm trying to set up my breathing, I'm trying to set up my embouchure, and then if I immediately miss the note, I want to release everything and then reset. But as I sit here and I'm playing, and granted it's been a long day, there is a ton of tension between my shoulders and my back. So, you know, it's so important to pay attention to your body. I'm clearly coming back from an injury, so I'm really conscious right now of like holding tension anywhere in my body, and I don't want to do that. So, you know, whether it's switching chairs or, you know, we don't want to play through pain. We don't want to play through pain. If we need to stand up, if we need to switch chairs, right? Like we've got to be conscious of that pain and then do whatever we can to fix it. Pitch was very sharp. So I have my phone here just because so I can check things. So it's 9:54. So I sat down about 24 minutes ago, and I've done B flat, B natural, and C. That's time well spent. Now there's been some stopping and starting because I did a little bit of rework and turned off and on the camera, and I've got some dog fun over here. Don't you dare throw up. No. So I'm going to actually, next I'm going to do thirds. I'm going to jump ahead to thirds because I really stopped there yesterday a lot sooner than I wanted to stop, but I really couldn't continue on. So I'm going to change up my order. I usually have a pretty specific order about how I practice, but I want to go right into thirds because I just feel like I want to get to that. So again, thirds, it was interesting to listen yesterday afterwards. I really want to just really smooth out my technique, but also I want to now pay attention to creating some beauty between the notes. It just sounded like note, 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 and it's always got to be about the music. So I'm going to see if I can have a mind for technique, but also for beauty today. Okay, so already, even in that first octave, already it just feels better to me. I feel like my musical connection has also improved the technical connection. Better. Still some unclean technique and connection between the notes, but thinking about it musically, I feel like overall improved my product a bit. I just want to do it again though and do it better. feel like in B flat, that first connection, the B flat to D with those long mechanisms, right? You want to be really conscious about that thumb movement. And so I'm thinking a lot about really pivoting onto my knuckle rather than dragging back, because that's just not going to be smooth. So I'm probably going to do that a few times. So I like that bottom octave. Now I want to get that same kind of both beautiful sound and expression, but better technique in that middle octave. Right now it just feels like, it feels like a technical exercise, but I want it to sound like a musical exercise with good technique. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can link those two octaves together. Feels so much better to me. It'll be interesting to go back and listen to this. But again, I feel like it's more musical today with better technique as opposed to just yesterday, the first day coming back after not playing for 5 weeks, and it's like, note. So letting a musical expression inform technique, and technique, our technique should blossom into great music. Like they have to go hand in hand. I'm going to move on to B major. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking that obviously I'm having some errors, but I don't like the sound as soon as I head into that next octave. Sagging on that C sharp. So I also think at this point I'm realizing this reed is really not responding the way I want it to. So this reed's probably going to get retired right now because I've already done a little bit of work on it, and as the more I play it, it's just not doing what I want it to do. And life's too short to play on a reed that doesn't give you what you want. And I have a lot of reeds. So I'm going to do a reed switch, and then I'll continue. So for the record, that reed will not go back into my box. That'll go into the sell to a non-major box, or I'll just eventually throw it away. But yeah, if you're in a practice session and you can't do what you know you should be able to do, don't keep fighting with a reed. It either can play correctly or it's just not worth fighting with. Like, this is why we make tons and tons of reeds. So yeah, be a good reed maker and just make more reeds and fight less. So B major, here we go. My pitch is sharp. I want to go back to that top octave though. I'm struggling with the connection between notes with my technique, and I'm doubtful my pitch is where it ought to be. So what am I thinking? Thinking my ring is hitting. Okay, so I can't actually get my ring off, but I'm clearly gonna have to take it back off. I don't normally wear a ring for this reason. That clicking, it distracts me and then it messes up my technique. But I'll have to deal with the click for right now. So it's going to be a hard connection. That A sharp to C sharp, no matter how much time I spend on that, it's always going to be time well spent. And at that point, it's just getting your fingers to move quickly enough. Time on B major, which is fine because for me, B major is probably the hardest of all the thirds to do, in my opinion. And there's a lot of kind of gnarly transitions. Now, many years ago, I would have gone over and done alternate fingerings in some areas, and I've really transitioned my thinking on this, and I've really gone back to having clean technique with full fingerings. I think it's, in my opinion, you can have clean, fast technique with full fingerings so that you really save your alternate fingerings for something that's truly gnarly. I'm not going fast at all. There's no reason why I should, in my opinion, go to an alternate fingering so I can do a relatively slow A sharp to C sharp connection. Instead, I need to just focus on good finger coordination, making sure I'm nice and tight to the bassoon, remembering always with everything, we want all the mechanical aspects of our playing to move quickly but not far. And so addressing that rather than just saying, well, I'm going to find an easier fingering, I think is much more powerful and valuable. Just really making sure, like, am I cutting down on any unnecessary movement? And I have found that when I address that, I can do everything quite fast if I'm doing my fundamental skills properly. And so the fact that I'm not getting that A sharp to C sharp connection just means that I'm probably, I imagine, getting some extra movement right here in that fourth finger. So I'm gonna go ahead and spend a little bit more time on B major. It's worth it. Alright, I spent a lot of time on that B natural, but it's worth it. Again, I think for young players, sometimes we just don't spend time where we need to. We just rush off to the next thing, but this is really about mastery, right? So if you need to, what time is it? It's now 10:16, so I've spent about 20 minutes, and I've only made it through 2 keys of thirds. So probably what I'll do now is move a little bit faster, but or maybe I won't. I mean, this is the work, right? The work is to have masterful fundamentals so that everything else is easier. But I will move on now to C major. Okay, so it's 11 o'clock, and I'm going to stop here. I went on, and I finished my thirds, and I did my fourths, and then I got into single tonguing, and now my lips are really chapped, and I actually feel like I have a lot of energy, and I would kind of love to keep playing, but I also want to keep my motivation beyond, so I'm going to stop here. It's really just been great to play, and I think that's my biggest relief from yesterday and today is this feeling of just really awesome positivity about being back in the process of improvement. I really, really love it. So, good practice session today. You know, I feel like I didn't make it through a lot of different exercises, but I really loved getting into the nitty gritty and like really working on things. And it's amazing, even just from yesterday to today, how much more in control I feel and how much better my embouchure feels. So it's just a really nice feeling. Yeah, so basically I've invested 90 minutes with a little bit of a break there, and then of course dog fun there at the beginning. But overall I feel good about this practice session, and especially because I just feel excited and I'm looking forward to working on things tomorrow. So I definitely, getting into the fourths, it was a really big mess. I didn't record it, but I definitely will probably end up starting with fourths tomorrow after my long tone, so I can dig into that process. So we'll probably spend a lot of time on tomorrow's video talking about fourths. So lots of good stuff. Let me know if there's anything you want me to address, if you see anything in these videos that you're wondering about, or if you see some things I am doing wrong or have concerns about, definitely let me know. But otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.